All right. Here we go, back again on the other side of the coin. All right, welcome back to the other side of the coin, and we are back again with the That's Life podcast. I've got Ryan here in the house, as we've always, not always, well, we're trying to be always, but we've promised that we want to be here after every match day, and this one's a really good one to be doing because I feel like that was a sensational victory, especially in the second half. So lots of juicy conversations to be had and lots of fine, discussion points to touch base on. Ryan, my man, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Today's game was a huge one forward for us. So I
Mm.
feel really happy to come on this time. I know sometimes we talk about bleaker topics, sometimes there's some like losses, this and that drama. But today it's
Mm.
a good one, bro. 6-2, amazing performance by us. And yeah, just happy to be here with a win with you, bro. How are you?
Yeah, good, man. Good. I'm tired because I slept by the time match finished. It was around 1:30, no, 1. And then by the time I did the review, it was 1:30. So, yeah, I went to bed quite late and I
Jeez.
had to wake up early because of
Wake
work.
up, get a haircut. Wake up
No,
and
I
get a
got,
fresh
got the
fade.
haircut.
Oh,
Got the haircut
jeez.
during the weekend, like on Saturday. I got the haircut Saturday early morning. Um, but yeah, man, feel tired but still buzzing. Ryan, when you win, it's just that added adrenaline that just carries you throughout the day because you saw a good game, loads of goals. You saw a bit of improvement in the team, especially in the second half, and
Do you
regardless of
still
how
get that
you feel.
feeling? Do you still get that feeling? Like even after all like these past 2 seasons, do you still get that feeling of like adrenaline and like positive mood and like optimism going through your day?
100%, man, 100%. Even through all of these adversities that has taken place, a win of that manner will always get the blood rushing. Do you know what I mean? It will always get you that adrenaline rush 100%. And you just can't wait to see your team again. And that's what it's all about. It's all about consistency now. It's about how can we now perform not, and this is what I want to start talking to you about. We'll get into the finer details as we go on, but right, even though we won and we absolutely annihilated Wolves, right?
Yeah.
I did not like that first half, though. I have to be honest. That first half was not nice at all. Too
Yeah.
back and forth, basketball game like. Wolves could have scored a few more.
Yeah.
We did score early, and then after that, we kind of disappeared. It was all Wolves, and then we came back somehow with that Cole Palmer goal, and then we gave that goal away just before halftime. Let's start things here, and then we'll talk about the better things into the chunkier parts of this podcast.
Yeah.
Do you like that first half at all? Like, were you a bit annoyed, or were you like, this is quite common? There's going to be some teething problems.
I
I was
think
at a point where I was thinking this is no different to what we saw last season.
I think initially, I mean, it's when you win 6-2 in it always be hindsight that you'd end up feeling positively, right?
Yeah,
But I think that in that first half, the negative I'll take, there's both negatives and positives, right?
yeah, yeah.
The negative I'll take is that we had sort of lack of organization
Mm,
within that first half. And then in the moments that we did look organized, I think that some aspects of our team got beat too easily. For example,
mm,
you'd see like players like Cole Palmer and our forwards not pressing or putting enough pressure. I'm not talking about pressing forward, I'm talking pressing around the halfway line
yeah, yeah.
when Wolves were attacking us, then that would put pressure on Caicedo and Enzo where they were getting beaten easily, which eventually lead to chances, goal, etc.
Yes.
So you could be angry about lack of organization, but it's even more frustrating when you do have some organization in moments and we're
Mm,
still not pressing the trigger and making that organization worth it. But on the flip end, I would say that I was really happy with the mentality in the first
yeah,
half. It was
yeah.
like it felt like we didn't waste a minute. And sometimes I watch Chelsea last season and previous games. I feel like they always feel like they have time, and then they would want to make miracles happen in the last 5 minutes. Where
Mm,
was the urgency? I felt we had urgency, and we had a certain mentality that we're gonna get something from this game, whether
yeah,
they have two chances, whether they hit the bar. It never looked like we were impacted emotionally to put our chins down. We were
yeah.
always looking to win and beat them. So that's the positive.
Right. Just on that, I agree with you. From even the first half to the second half, we looked busy. Like we looked like we were going 100 miles an hour. But I do want to point something. And I want to hear what you have to say as well, and to the people in the live chat when this is
Yeah.
premiering later today. By the way, it's not live. This is a premiere, so don't be like on the
Yeah.
live chat. Is this live? Is this live? It's not live. I want to ask you, Ryan. I felt there were certain times in that first half where I felt calm it down a little bit, guys. You're too erratic. I
Yeah.
understand you're trying to move the ball very quick. You're trying to be um, trying to catch the opposition off their structure, but it was creating too many transitions because when you lose the ball, when you're trying to move the ball so quick, you're trying to run and rush and press, and you lose the ball. We ourselves were disoriented because not every part of the team were moving in a synchronized manner, right? Which was leaving a lot of gaps. One of the best examples that I can give is just before the halftime, we were leading 2-1. There was literally 2 minutes to go. And we were rushing again. We were trying to go 100 kilometers an hour. We give away a cheap foul, and then we don't end up defending that properly, which then ultimately leads to that equalizer. I'm like, that is so immature. When you can see you're leading 2-1, only a couple of minutes to go till the first half is finished, you take the lead, you go to the half, and you regroup. And that's a bit of a morale boosting situation for us that we probably weren't that great in the first half, but we're still leading 2-1. But the fact that you end up going 2-2
Yeah.
kind of gives a strange feeling, which in this game it wasn't, because whatever Maresca said in the halftime team talk completely worked. But do you feel at times in that first half, I fully understand you want to go quick and you want to be aggressive, but got to be able to control the tempo of the match?
Yeah. I think some part of me wonders, I mean, how do our young players emotionally respond to the feedback they get in after
Mm,
loses or after certain types of games, the feedback from the coaching staff and manager and fans, etc.
yeah, yeah,
Because this match reminded me of Man City. I think Man City, we had a good balance between organization, patience, and launching the ball in behind, trying to get those
yeah,
chances, right?
yeah.
And I think due to that launching nature, it made me feel that that past match in the Conference League,
Mm,
we kind of went to a more patient kind of play. I don't know if
mm,
because we took it for granted that it was a lower team than us or what is it, but
mm,
we went to a more patient style. And then from the backlash of that patient style, it felt like they came here and wanted to do the opposite. And
mm,
I'm not quite sure. I don't think there's a reason for it because there's 100 ways to play one game and 100 ways to break down a defense. So it kind of makes me feel if these players, how they're emotionally reacting to feedback because they don't have experience or leaders to fall down to guide them on how to react after certain matches, results, or performances. What do you think about that?
I agree with that to a certain level because obviously the age of our, well, the average age is quite low. There's a lot of kids in our squad, so immaturity will be, shining through the
Yeah,
squad. So,
I'm telling you,
yeah, go
Jorginho,
on.
Kovacic, those guys would never let that happen. As soon as that
Yeah,
started to happen, they would start playing it around our back four, like whether it's
100.
even guys, crazy guys like Rudiger and stuff like that. They would take a few minutes, play it around, be
Yeah,
patient. and start again.
calm things down, basically.
Yeah.
Calm things down. But look, obviously it worked against Wolves because I felt like we didn't change too much in the second half either, besides the fact that we took Mudryk off. As I said, we're going to talk about every individual, well, most notable individuals very, very soon. But I feel like we were still trying to go 100 kilometers an hour in the second half, but I feel we were a little bit more cohesive. In the second half, even though we were trying to go quick,
Less transitions.
yeah, less transitions because the team was far more compact, and we won a lot of our duels in the first half.
Yeah,
We were pressing. When we lose the
exactly.
ball, we didn't win enough of our duels,
Hmm.
which then caused a lot of this transition. In the second half, we were so much better. Enzo Fernandez stepped up big time. Caicedo also stepped
Yeah.
up big time, and many other players stepped up big time. We were winning a lot of the duels, which then helped out. Playing in this manner, Ryan, and before we go into the more lovelier stuff, we're going to talk about some of the players that did well. But playing in this manner, is this? I didn't expect Maresca to be like this. You did kind of allude to the fact last week when we did the podcast post Man City that you don't expect Maresca to be completely hellbound on possession, even though we actually did dominate in possession. I just felt it was a bit too erratic at times. Do you think the way we played against Wolves, back and forth, is that how we're always going to play, or it's what you said last week, that kind of horses for courses situation is we're gonna have different types of game for different types of opposition.
No, I think we're searching. We're gonna the way it feels for me, right? And I asked you this earlier, like how do you feel after a win like this? If you feel that buzz and that positivity throughout your hours. And the way
Mm.
I felt is that I think win by win, I think we're not gonna see that full amazing Maresca or Chelsea performance because
Yeah.
we're building it brick by brick. The good thing is, Miz, is that by
Mm.
each brick or each piece of the puzzle, we're collecting wins with it. So
Yeah.
we lost one, but I think that was a good performance. We won two.
Yeah.
Winning is a habit. I always say this every podcast. And
Yes.
in each game, we're showing one thing that we like, some that we don't like, another thing we like, some that we don't like. And I think it's slowly building, hopefully, to that performance where we actually said, wow, that
Mm.
was a fully balanced performance. And that is what I could expect from
Mm.
this manager. Um, that being said, going back to your question on Maresca, I think Maresca is a really flexible manager. Is that, and it's really exciting for me as an analyst
Mm.
that, well, it's not an analyst, but as someone who analyzes football, that
Man, come on, bro. You are an
that
analyst. Come on.
yeah, that every game might not be the same, might
Yeah.
not be the same tempo, same tactics, same way we attack, same areas we attack. So honestly, I think what Maresca's philosophy,
Yeah.
I think it is to be flexible in how we approach the opposition setup. And I think
Mm.
their setup in Wolves, they had areas that we could have definitely attacked and spaces to penetrate any transition in behind. And I think that's why we went for it the
That's
way we went for it today.
Yeah. No, you're right, man. It looked like Enzo Maresca had a. There's no doubt that he had a game plan. There was no doubt that there was a game plan. There are certain times where you watch a game, and you go, "What is our plan in this game?" You knew
Yeah,
what the plan was, which was
yeah,
trying to find space in behind. That's why there was a lot of long balls. That's why the second goal that we scored off the back of Robert Sanchez's distribution to Nicholas Jackson, really catching out the Wolves line, absolutely catching them napping. And then, of course, Cole Palmer with a lovely finish. So, yeah, hopefully, as the weeks go on and as the matches go on, as you said, we're going to start seeing different things each and every time. And then hopefully by the end of the season, we can see a complete package of what Enzo Maresca's football is all about. Now, let's break down this game even further by talking about some of the individual performances. Lots of really, really good moments. We're going to talk about that sixth goal, Pedro Neto and João Felix. I know you're buzzing to talk about
yeah.
that as
Oh
well.
my. Jeez.
That honestly, I'm not even gonna lie. I was hard after watching that goal. I really was. I was so excited. I needed to do something after that goal, but I was streaming, so I had to relax myself. Um, let's start things with Madueke. Ryan, I get a lot of heat when I talk about this player. A lot of heat. There was a lot of heat for me in the live watch along. There was a lot of heat
Yep.
for me post match in the comment section, but I understand it. I get it. When this player does well, I open, basically open myself out for these sort of interactions and comments. But I feel like a lot of people misunderstand where I come from, and this is where I want to hear what you have to say as well about Madueke. I've always, I've always said that Madueke is a player that has certain distinct qualities that is useful to the team. However, I've said there's few things I personally don't like. I don't like how he's inconsistent in terms of his final third decision making. He dribbles, 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 and then a lot of times it doesn't materialize to something. I've also said his shooting ability's got to be a lot better inside the box. He gets into really good positions, got to be able to put things away, which he did in this match, especially with his right foot. And one of my pet peeve, and this is because maybe I'm old school, like I'm old. Do you know what I mean? I'm 39, right? Maybe this is my old school nature kicking in. I don't like, and I get this is a modern era where players are so involved in social media, but I like my players to be professional. I like my players to do their talking on the field. I don't like my
Yeah.
players to do too much talk on social media and at times making yourself look like a fool. In this case, he didn't, even though he said what he had to say about Wolverhampton, and then he goes and he dunked a hat trick on their head. I've got no issues if you're performing at a highest level consistently and then you want to be cheeky on social media. I think you've then earned the right to do that. So I've never hated, like so many people will tell you, even after this podcast, oh, means you're a hater, you're a hater. I've never I've got no affiliation with anyone. Like, I don't know any of these players. I don't hate them. I just feel like there's a certain standard that I want. Having said all of this, Ryan, of course, he dropped a masterclass, sensational hat trick, right foot finishes, left foot
Yeah.
finishes, excellent on and off the ball work rate, and he was a boss. He really was a boss. He had certain level of arrogance about his game, which was good. And whenever he was 1v1 with the Wolves left back, I think Nuri, until he got hooked off, he took care of him. Absolutely took care of him. My thing is, Madueke, I just need to see consistency from here on. That's it. That's all I ask for. I need you to, on a regular basis, produce goals, assists, and work hard, better final third decision making. That's all I want to see. And this is what Enzo Maresca said post-match against Servette and also post-match against Wolves. He said, I love Noni Madueke. My only issue
Okay.
is he's
So
just got to be he's got to be consistent. So yeah,
and
go on,
and
bro.
and that end, let me ask you something then. Say one Madueke to be consistent. We
Mm-hmm.
have Nkunku, we have João Felix, we have Neto.
Mm.
Are you with this hat trick and with the form that Madueke is in this
Mm-hmm.
season? Are you going to give him that opportunity game in the next couple of games to show, rise up to the challenge here? And
Mm-hmm.
if you do, you'll be rewarded by being in the starting 11, no matter who is on the bench, no matter who name it is. If
Mm.
you perform and you keep scoring goals or assisting, or even if you don't, but you keep keeping sharp and consistent and working your
Yes.
socks off, I'm going to keep you here no matter what.
Mm.
Will you want Madueke to be given a chance to be consistent? Because if he's not given that chance and he's just dropped, I know everybody wants to see this trio of Neto, João Felix, and Nkunku behind
Mm.
a striker. But at the end of the day, we have someone here. If we want him to be consistent, we need to give him the opportunity to be consistent.
Mm-hmm.
So would you do it?
100%. 100% I would. He's now shown a very solid preseason, right? Not a mind blowing preseason, but a solid preseason. He's scored against Civet before this particular game. He gets his start. He gets drops a hat trick. Works really hard for the team as well in the match, not just the
Yeah,
goals. For me, it's all about now putting that application in training and then replicating that again in the next match day. For me, he starts as long as he trains well and his attitude is right. He starts next game.
yeah,
I don't care whether I have a Jean Felix or Nkunku. If this brother is showing the right attitude, working hard, and then delivering on game day on a regular basis. Now, I'm not saying he now has to produce a hat trick every single week. No, he doesn't. But as a winger, I need my winger to be potent as often as possible. Now, by potency, I don't necessarily mean that he has to score goals. There could be games where he absolutely devastates that left back, whoever he comes up against, and he's made very good final third decisions, but the team couldn't put away. I
yeah,
want to be able to go off the match and say, do you know what? Today is not on Madueke.
yeah,
Now, I also understand there will be games where he may not be on it, but they have to be few. They have to be like one in maybe 6 or 7 games. They can't be, 2, 3 back-to-back games. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
yeah, yeah. Because I think, I mean, I agree with you completely. I think that he should be given the next game and the next game to keep on building upon this to get that
Mm.
consistency. It begs a question though with Maresca's man management. I
Yeah.
think do you think it's on purpose that he handles the media in this way? It's a kind of a way of sending messages to his players, but kind of getting under the skin enough that they give a response in training and in the match. Because I do realize the players he talks about who he says they could do better, he
Mm-hmm.
gives them a chance that next game, that very next game. The players that he talks about and answers questions about, he plays them the very
Yeah.
next game.
They're starting like
As to
Mudryk did
say,
as well.
yeah, as to say, you know what, this is how I feel, it's honest, but you
Mm.
are part of my 21 players. That means I still have faith. I have faith in you. I see something in you.
Mm.
Go out there and show me that I am wrong. Or show me that you want to work on these things. Not that I'm wrong, but show me that you want to work on these things. Show me
Mm.
that you want to fight. Because I think you saw two personalities here. And I know I'm not a fan of the showiness, the showiness. But we saw two personalities today. We saw
Yeah.
one in Mudryk where I could see someone in Mudryk that he lacks confidence. I
Yeah.
don't know if he feels a belonging in this team. I don't know if he feels happy or feels like, you know what I mean? A part
I
of the
get you.
culture here.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
feel like with the bigger names and the bigger signings coming in, I feel like he's getting less and less and less prominent from a personality point of view too. Not in skills only. We know
It's
his
eating
skills
him
too.
up. It's
Yeah.
eating him up.
He's
Yeah.
going into a shell, into a shell, into a shell,
Yeah.
into a shell. And soon enough, means I don't really see it turning around for him at
Yeah.
Chelsea. Even though
Yeah.
I think he has the ability to turn it around somewhere else. I would love to
Basically
be
what he's saying
proven
is he's
wrong.
getting overwhelmed, whereas
Yeah.
someone like Madueke seems like
It's
he wants to rise
mental.
to the challenge.
And yeah, with Madueke, you know, you see the polar opposite way. Someone who said, "Sell me." I don't know if he actually said, but rather than a tweet. But um, but you know, like, but that's the attitude he came with. Everybody
Yeah.
saying, "We'll see later on in the window. We'll see." He came and showed. No, in 2 games he changed it from "We'll see later on in the window" to
He's
"Not
not
at
for sale.
all this window, not for sale." And that is the response I want a player to give. And I don't mind a player showy when he
Mm,
wants to win. He wants to make
mm,
an impact. He wants to
for sure.
score goals. He wants to assist. You know what, miss? I don't like the new generation of social media and this and that as much as
Mm.
you. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. That's life. But
That's life.
I have to adapt to the personalities of the generation that
Yeah.
you are working with.
Mm,
Honestly, if this type of mentality allows someone to rise in their
yeah.
work ethic and their aggressive nature and how Maruiki today, every single chance he got, he didn't try to waste it. He looked like he
He
wanted
was
blood.
decisive. He
And
was
and
decisive, bro.
ever since Maresca said that about Madueke, it seems like every time he gets that ball, he's switched on in his head.
Yeah.
He'd
Yeah.
switched on. And what I loved about him today is that he wanted more. He
Yeah.
wanted more. I remember, I think someone did not, I think it was, and no, Cole Palmer went for a shot at a tight angle and hit the bar. But Madueke made a really good run through the middle. And he wanted it on the plate to score probably a third or a fourth.
Yes.
Honestly, that's it. And he was like angry at not getting that ball. That's the kind of
Yeah.
mentality we have. I think I saw from time to time I see João Felix too, and a lot of our young players, they might look like little brats on the field, but you could tell that all of them really want to win and they want to make sure the combinations work and that they
Mm.
are lethal in the combinations. And when it goes wrong for them, you could see they're watching each other and demanding more. They're not
Mm.
being quiet. They don't have the chin down. It's like, no, send the pass better next time. Be more aggressive next time. And I think that mentality is coming from the coaches and the manager because it wasn't there last year.
Do you know what? There's so many really, really good points that you've said, and I want to highlight them. First of all, I absolutely love the fact how you said Madueke wanted more today. He wasn't even happy with that hat trick. He wanted more. He wanted the fourth. He wanted the fifth goal. He wanted to
Yeah.
absolutely, when it's, do you know what I mean? When it's what's that say? When the sun shines, make hay while the sun shines. I think that's the
Yeah,
saying.
yeah.
And
Back
he
when,
really
yeah, is that
and he really wanted to make hay while the sun was shining. And
exactly.
that this is something that I saw from Cole Palmer last season. Cole Palmer
Hmm.
with all the goals and assists. And we're gonna get to Cole Palmer because he
Oh,
sneakily
what
got
a
three
goal.
assists.
Jeez.
He sneakily got 3 assists as well in this game, and obviously what an amazing goal as well. But he's a kind of player. I've never seen this guy happy. Like, it don't matter. Goal, no problem. Another one. Let's get another one. Let's get more assists. And that's
Hmm.
what I saw with Madueke. The other point that you really made, which kind of caught me off guard because I should have thought about this a little bit deeper. And it's such a good point that you've said. Madueke's name's been thrown around in this transfer window to be one of the players that could potentially leave, right?
Yeah, Newcastle and this and that.
Mudryk's name's not really being thrown around, even though Mudryk
Mm.
was, I think, up for grabs last window in January as a loan to Bayern Munich, but his name's not really getting thrown around this window. Madueke's name is. This brother, we know he lives in social media because he's very active, so he's well aware of what conversations are taking place about him on social media. You would have seen that his name's getting thrown around, and he's seeing the kind of players Chelsea's bringing in, João Felix, Pedro Neto, and he's not getting overwhelmed. He's backing himself, and
Hmm.
he's consistently, and the manager as well being public about, yeah, Noni, we all love him, but it's that inconsistency that lets us down. Then
Yeah.
he's saying, we'll wait till the window, we'll see what happens. He's not really going out and putting a statement that now we're keeping Noni Madueke. So Madueke is seeing all of this and he's still rising to all of these challenges and performing really well. As I said, decent enough preseason, goal against the Vet, hat trick now. That we need to value, like that these sort of things don't come out in stats. Like there has to be a value in terms of character, which I suppose Mudryk on the other side is not showing. So you're absolutely right, Ryan, in terms of Madueke, that he's showing all of this. I just want to ask you now, Ryan, with the likes of, and we'll close the Madueke topic before we go into the next player. With the likes of Kendi Paez and Esteval Willian coming next season once they're 18, a lot of people were saying that, and even me, including someone like Madueke, is probably going to have to move on. Could there be a situation, Ryan, where Madueke is probably looking at this and thinking, I want to drop the best season of my lifetime, and then let's see what the fan base and the hierarchy and the owners have to say about me, knowing that two youngsters are coming? He wants to make the decision as hard as possible. Do you think there is a case if he does drop an absolute blinder of a season that it might get too difficult to get rid of this guy.
Yeah, and why would you want to get rid of him? Why would you?
For
That's
profit,
someone.
bro. Chelsea's all about business. Come on.
Nah, bro, that's someone who was bought by. That was someone who was scouted by us. Someone who was scouted by not. I call Clear Lake us. No, not me. It was scouted by Clear Lake, not us. I know I'm part of it.
Ryan thinks he's Clear Lake.
Yeah. It was scouted by myself. I scouted him, and we bought him. I bought him with my money. So, but no, honestly, I think you're right about that. I think one thing you harped on was that he is active on social media. Sure, everybody has their burner account, you know, and he's seen these things, and he could have easily said, you know what, Newcastle, fight for European football, go there, do a couple good seasons, and probably go to a Bayern Munich or try to make it somewhere in Europe elsewhere, right?
Yeah.
And he came and he responded when he got the chance, showing exactly which club he wanted to be at. Some players will come and they would score a goal and they wouldn't celebrate because their name is on the news, and they would always have their head down, and when the rest of the players celebrating, they wouldn't go and celebrate. They would still play good, this and that. He showed exactly he won. He said, I want to be at this club, but no, I'm the man at this club too.
Yeah. I think I'm not just here to be he.
Yeah.
I'm here to be the man.
Yeah. And honestly, I want him to keep on showing that. Honestly, I think he has huge talent. Just the way, like it has intangibles in a player and the way they move, and it's like poetry in seeing their movements and how they operate, how they dribble on the ball, the explosiveness he has. Like once he keeps injury free. That explosiveness and even the height and stature he has. I think there's so much things to be built.
He's quite broad.
Yeah, right. and he isn't skinny. He's actually like looks strong on the ball. Looks like it's hard to take him off that ball. I think, and you said that he needs to be better in the final third, which everybody does. But he was someone that played striker a couple times in his career. And from his shooting, I think that he has a really good shooting technique as opposed to some of our other wingers in the past. I think when I watch him, I think he really needs... You know how today he shot and it had a deflection and went in the goal?
That was his first goal.
I think some players just need that. And now let's keep getting more. I want him to want more, because as opposed to some other wingers, like I think he's one of them that could actually get into the Cole Palmer figures of amount of goals per season.
Do you know what I truly liked about in this game is he didn't just shuffle onto his left every time he was on that.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. He utilized his left foot as the big weapon. He's not going to show that weapon always. And he kept on hitting it with his right. Because the defenders are thinking, this guy's a left footer. He's going to cut in now.
Cut in, which he does a lot. Too much sometimes.
He backed himself with the right. And this is going to pose a big problem for defenders in the future, where they will not know, well, is this guy going to go with his right? If I show too much of myself on his left, he's going to drill it with his right and leaving my goalkeeper exposed, right? And seems like he can drill it with his right as well. He's scored a couple of drillers today. And if the players want to be a bit too tight on him, I want to see him utilize that left foot as a top weapon. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think over the past, when I was watching him and he was consistently cutting with his left, we've all been spoiled by left wingers on the right cutting in with their left.
Yeah, the Christian Pulisic, all these guys,
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I'm thinking Robin and those kind of names. This guy has brought out Christian Pulisic. Oh, threw me off guard. I'm thinking, and I've been saying that about Madueke right at the end of last season when he was performing really well under Pochettino, right? The final 6-7 games. I said, that left foot, it's got to be the moneymaker.
Yeah.
That needs to be hit so sweetly on a regular basis,
Yeah.
and it's got to be able to get that top right hand corner, and that's got to be his moneymaker. Do you know what I mean? Like he
Yeah.
puts that away. So look, man, my bottom line, and I'll give you your final statement on Madueke before we move on to the next play, is to all the people that consistently keep saying on the comments, live chat, that means you're a hater, to the point someone actually said I'm racist. I only like white players. And then I said, well, I like Caicedo, I like Romeo Lavia. Are they not colored players? Anywho, I've never hated Madueke. Yes, I'm not his biggest fan of his character at times in terms of what he does on social media and his penalty incident last season. I'm not the biggest fan of that kind of stuff. Now, either you can hate me for that. That's just I didn't grow up in that manner, so that's a personal thing that I don't want to see my players do that kind of stuff. But I've always said there is an underlying skill set this brother has. I just need it to be far more consistent. Because if it's not consistent, then let's just say, for argument's sake, this hat trick, and then he doesn't play well for the next 5 games or whatever the case is, 3 games. We're back to being in square one again. Because if he's going to represent Chelsea Football Club the way Ryan has just said, that he's so keen to be here, I need him to absolutely rip things apart. I really do. I get he's young, but he's been at Chelsea Football Club now long enough to understand what the levels need to be. So that's my final statement. Ryan, do you want to say anything about Madueke before we move on to Cole Palmer?
Bring it on next game. Let's do it all over again.
Come on. Ryan, Cole Palmer. This guy, I've got so much praise about this guy, man. I think this guy is going to be... This guy's going to be something.
Top.
Do you know when I know? Do you know when I know a player is a good player? When
he plays good.
Well, of course not. But when he doesn't play good, and he still has a mad impact.
3 assists and 1 goal. Yeah, crazy. This is like an under-radar game for Cole Palmer.
Bro, absolutely under the radar, and he dropped 3 assists. Do you know what I mean? And that pass, and you'll know what pass I'm talking about. That little 6th goal combination play from Pedro to Enzo Fernandez to Dewsbury Hall to Cole Palmer, and Cole Palmer sliding that ball through to Pedro Neto.
Yeah, bro's getting hard again, no?
Oh, yeah. Cole Palmer, I mean, ridiculous. Well, not ridiculous, but lovely finish, that first goal. But the sense, the weight of passes, literally putting it on the plate for Madueke. All through, I had live chat talking a lot of rubbish about Cole Palmer. That this guy's just dropping stinkers. He's not going to be the same anymore after that first season. I said, guys, he's got enough credit in the bank to have maybe a couple of stinkers. I do understand that he was having a stinker in that first half, and he probably didn't have a very good game against Man City either. But I was like, there's too much quality about this kid. Like, this kid's gonna come into fruition too quick.
Jeez, I mean, what a player, bro.
I'll
tell you this. Cole Palmer is, when we think about players in the pockets, wingers, attacking midfielders, this and that.
You love your pocket players.
Yeah, I love it, of course. But he is the best English, that profile of player I've seen since the golden generation.
Yeah. I'd even say he's better than Foden, you know. I wouldn't have said that last season, but now I'm comfortable to say.
Yes, I believe so too. He is the best I've seen since the golden generation. And Miz, I would say that there's no young talent in the world right now. I would say I would rather him than Cole Palmer in my team.
That's a big statement,
What a player. He reminds me of Iniesta. Andres Iniesta.
Bro.
Now, and obviously he's playing in Premier League. It's more more like basketball type of game, back and forth, this and that. But let me tell you, if he had the time and space that you get in La Liga, stuff like that, you
Oh,
you you would see those kind of dribbles and vertical
uh,
passes more and more.
yeah.
Obviously, we still see the vertical passes now, but it's more like in a kind of rugged kind of basketball kind of back and
Mm,
forth
mm,
way, right?
mm.
But honestly, Miss, the way this player, there's not one thing I could say that is not class about Cole Palmer. The way he receives the ball, the way
Oof.
he turns with the ball, the way he glides through the pockets with. He is someone of good height and stature too.
Mm,
And
mm.
for someone who looks skinny, he's very strong on the ball and
I
shooting
barely see this
technique.
guy dispossessed, you
Yeah,
know. I don't see him
yeah,
getting
no,
dispossessed.
and his shooting technique is
Mm.
crisp,
On point. On
firm.
point.
His mentality is above nearly everyone his age. Miss, I
That's the
think
role
this
model for
player
me.
here,
That's the role model.
this player is the best player I've seen at Chelsea since Eden Hazard.
You're probably not far off, man. Like, no online shenanigans, no controversy. When he's given the mic to talk, you better listen to what he's saying. Last season, there were a couple of times where he came out after a loss and he said, "This is not good enough."
Yeah.
Like, he categorically came out and said,
How did we
"We
get this
shouldn't be."
player, man? How did we get this player?
We
Jeez.
struck gold, and this is where we have to praise our ownership. We have to praise our directors, most specifically Joe Shield. He's the one who is, the catalyst of getting him. But Ryan, there's so much to like about this player, man.
Yep.
So much. His passing. I mean, you know what? People talk about his on the ball, off the ball. He's no lazy kid, you know. Like, he's not lazy. Like, he's tracking back. He's trying to help, in defense. He presses well. He's so smart in intercepting the pass. Like, when you think there's nothing going on, boom, he comes out of nowhere, intercepts the ball. The opposition had no idea. He just snuck in,
Yeah.
gets the ball, and then he starts a new wave of attack. What I really like is the way we ended the game, Ryan,
Mm-hmm.
with the likes of Pedro, Neto, Joao Felix,
Describe the goal again. Describe it again. Describe it
Cole
again.
Palmer,
Describe it again.
and Nkunku. I think this boy is gonna have an absolute ball this season with all
Jeez.
of these
Yo.
unbelievable, insane level of players around him.
Yeah.
It's almost going to get to the point where he's like, "Who should I assist now? Like,
Yeah.
which one should I fix up now?" Do you know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Yeah. No, honestly, Ms. Bro, I, I used to feel this with Hazard. I'll be like,
Mm.
Hazard was in a generation that had a lot of class players,
Yeah,
Fabregas, Costa, this and that, right?
yeah,
But
yeah.
I think that throughout it all, that 7 or 8 years he spent with us, 7 years,
Mm.
I think throughout the whole 7 years, I felt this great feeling of that we're fortunate to have him. That this
Mm.
player could start for any team in world
Anything,
football.
anything. Yeah,
No. And I get that same feeling with Cole Palmer
Cole Palmer
that
as well.
we're
Yeah,
so fortunate to have him. I could see him starting for Real Madrid, for Bayern Munich,
but he
for
starts for Man City. He
yeah.
starts
He starts for
for
Man City, Real Madrid,
Real
Bayern
Madrid,
Munich,
Bayern Munich.
all the top teams, PSG,
Yeah,
any top team
PSG.
it has, I think he starts for every single team
Yeah,
in this world.
yeah,
And to s- to know that we have him and he just signed a new contract and that he's so invested in this project and he's performing so well for us,
mm, mm.
I think that it really shows how much of a world class player we have
Yeah.
in him, and he's a true talent, true
We
talent,
can categorically say he is world class level. Like,
world
this,
class.
the way he carry jobbed like England in the Euros. Every time he came off the bench, I'm not the biggest English national team fan, but every time he came on, I was like, this boy is going to do something right now. And the way he scored that goal in that final, that equalizer against
No,
Spain, that one
jeez,
touch finish. You remember that goal?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
I can't remember who squared the ball, but someone squared the ball and he first touch. He didn't take two, second touch, third touch. First touch, and he literally just like finessed it to the net. Like he passed, finessed it to the net. Look, man, goal, 3 assists. I can't wait for him to play
No,
against
but
Crystal
Miss,
Palace.
I'll
Yeah.
tell you this, like a lot of people, he's young and he's from England, so we're very hesitant to hype an English player because we know how it
Mm,
always falls back. But
yeah.
seems like him and Bellingham are two people that are not going to fall back. They're going to keep going for the stars and become
Mm,
best in the world in their positions.
mm,
But I think that, we it has huge names in our team, João Felix and
yeah.
Nkunku, this and that. But you can't confidently say about any player in our team that they could
Mm.
start for any team in the world. You
No, you can't.
cannot say that about any player
Cole Palmer's the only one. Cole
in
Palmer's the
our
only one.
whole 75-man squad.
And
There's
Robert
not one
Sanchez as
player.
well. I think Robert Sanchez probably.
Yeah. Robert, yeah, Alexis Sanchez, brother. Yeah. No, bro. But you trying to get me back for the Pulisic one
That's
day.
right, baby.
Yeah. No, but I want to go into this topic though, and
Yeah.
there's one player I feel kind of worried about. There's
Mm,
one player I'm worried about, and a huge fan of this player, and it's Nkunku. It's a
mm,
player that I've seen him for the past two games, no, past 2 or 3 games,
mm.
whether he started or he came on, and I just feel like I'm not getting the vibe from him, the kind of personality that I see in a Madueke, that when he comes into the team, he's grasping it with both hands. And
Mm, mm.
he's giving it everything to say, you know what, you ballhead Maresca, I want to be in your team. And
Yeah.
and I think with Nkunku is that he's kind of giving me the feeling that I get with Mudryk, not in
Mm,
ability, because I would say I have 120% confidence in Nkunku's ability. Before he came to Chelsea, I was making tactical threads and lineup 11s, telling everybody we need Nkunku in our team.
yes.
So
Yes.
I love this player, and I think that even with all the injuries he have, I don't think he missed a step in his ability. I think it's
Yep.
more about getting sharp again and getting the rustiness out. I
Yep.
know you could get the rustiness out, right, Miss? But we're
Mm.
kind of in a predicament now that we can't just put a player there and say, listen, get the rustiness out, get the
Yeah.
rustiness out, get the
We got
rustiness
the
out.
pleasure, we got the luxury to allow
It's
you to
like
get the rustiness
it's
out.
like
Do you know what I
like
mean?
like Madueke, João Felix, guys, sit down. I'm gonna get this guy rust out here. I'm gonna wash him
This guy's
off.
a bit rusty. We just want to
Yeah.
clean him up a little bit.
Okay, so we're just gonna clean him up. No, but you just threw me off there, yeah. 'Cause I was just thinking about a bunch of dumb jokes that I can't say it, but yeah, yeah, but what I'll say is that with Nkunku, I feel like each game that passes, I can see he's
Mm,
kind of getting into that shell, getting into that shell, getting
yeah.
that shell. On some players, why do you think Madueke receives the ball so much? It always seems like you're watching the match and you're always seeing Madueke on the ball.
Yeah.
Most of the game, Maweke is on the ball, and
Yeah.
it's not because he happens to. It's because he demands that he's
Yeah.
always where the ball is. And I feel like for the past few games with Nkunku is that I'm not seeing that same want to get
True.
the ball, and I'm not seeing when he gets the ball that same urgency that he wants to do something. He
Mm, mm.
to think about this game and make a difference in this game. I think that a fair for his personality.
You're right, bro. You're right. Look, all throughout the preseason as well, even though he was popping in with some goals, mostly penalties, right? I think there was one where he scored inside the box. There was never a complete package of a match where I can
Yeah,
say, oof, he dominated.
yeah,
And okay, fair enough. He's just come back the entirety of last season. He was plagued with injury.
yeah.
So we can be patient. But
But
even
no
in these
rust. We
early
don't have the rust time allowance for the rust to come out. So in one hand we
eh,
could say it's okay, but is it, you
that's the
know?
thing. Like, is it like are we do we have the luxury now to allow him to get the rust off? Because it's true. Like even the match against Man City, Now, this particular game where I think against Servette, he played as well. See, you don't even like. I can't even recall
Exactly.
the matches he's played. That's when brother's really not put a big
He
impact.
played all three, but he didn't have a big impact. And he didn't
They
start all three. He only
Servette
started City.
play. He did play against Servette because he
Yeah,
scored that penalty, I think. But you're right. Like it's going to get to the point where it'll be too difficult to say to João Felix or Madueke or Pedro Neto that, oh, lads, you can't start today
yeah,
because Nkunku is going to play because he's a
and
bit rusty. We need to get him off the
I
rust.
tell
Do you
you,
know what I mean?
Neto looks sharp. Neto looks like a rapid player. Yo, I kind of wish I could have seen this man play wing back or something.
Bro,
Or something for us.
before we get into Neto, because I really want to talk about Neto with you, and sort of package that up with Mudryk. But just quickly on Nkunku,
Yeah,
I think you're right, bro. There needs to be one eye on what's going on here now because
yeah.
we can't just have the allowance of being nonchalant and just floating through the game.
Yeah.
Impact. Big players in the team now. Impact is necessary, or else other players they're gonna
And
pounce on the
the thing is,
opportunity.
Miss, I think with this Nkunku thing is that when you search for personalities in the team, you need to ask, is this player getting influenced by the game or are they influencing the game? And I think he's someone who is
Mm.
getting influenced by the
What
game.
a line, ladies and gentlemen! I just need to repeat that. What Ryan just said, is he getting influenced by the game or is he influencing the game? Just for a moment, deep what Ryan just said, because that's effing fantastic. That's deep talk. Go on,
Yeah,
bro. All right.
yeah, bro. Thanks for that. It's probably coffee. Probably coffee speaking. But yeah, no, but it's true. The way I see it is that it it feels like he gets his power and confidence about what's going on around him, like what's going on
Mm,
around him. He gets and he feeds off that. But the thing
yeah.
is, it reaches a point that our attacking players and in our midfielders, they vertically put the ball on the plate for you, and these players have to influence the game. And
Mm,
and we do have players who have the ability to do that now. We see Neto, he's make things happen out of nothing from the center of the field, going straight up. We see Madueke that every time he gets the ball, he looks like he wants to score. He wants to get
mm,
drive into the box. Even with um Nicholas Jackson, listen, no player in this whole wide multiverse makes me more frustrated in life
so
and
true.
before and after life and in heaven and in hell and wherever I go than
Yeah.
Nicholas Jackson. He's one of
Yeah.
the most frustrating human
So
beings to
frustrating.
watch
So
on a
frustrating.
football field. How could
Yeah.
someone hold on to a ball for so long and then fall down right in front of goal? That is, and how could someone do it every single game?
And the crazy part is he still chips in with a goal and an assist.
Yeah, but
You
the
know what I
thing
mean?
is, he looks like someone like a personality that he wants to be involved in the game.
Yeah.
He wants
Yeah.
to influence the game. He wants you to pass to him only. He wants to shoot. He wants to assist. He wants everything. And I think what he's someone that whatever tools he have, whether he has attributes as lacking or doing good, he wants to influence the game when you put it on a plate for him.
Mm,
Whereas someone like Nkunku now, when he gets that ball, I feel like he is not someone who mentally in his psyche right now feels like he is the man to influence the game. And it could be kind of this Fernando Torres situation, not with injury and this,
mm,
but it has some players who the whole team plays for you and makes you feel like you are the man and you are bestowed this responsibility to be our star man. That's what
mm.
Liverpool did. They always played that ball for Fernando Torres and they said, you are our one man
You're the
attack
man. Yeah.
and you are going
Yeah.
to win us this game. And some players thrive on that. Some players have a personality like that. And
Mm,
Kunku was that for his former team, right?
mm.
And
Leipzig, yeah.
he is a 25 goal of a season guy, and he did
Mm,
it more than once. And that is to show the caliber of player he is. Thing is, it's a different thing in Chelsea now.
yeah.
Whereas The whole team isn't playing for Nkunku. The whole
Mm,
team isn't playing for you to get 25 goals. The whole team is putting the ball on a plate to the final third, and it's up to you and Nkunku to get into the spaces and demand that ball, to
yeah.
shout and say, "Why didn't you pass me that ball?" Let me tell you, if you don't pass to Madueke or Jackson, you're gonna get shouted at from them. You're gonna
Mm,
get argued at from them. And
mm.
it's same thing with Felix. I saw Felix like arguing about 10 times today. He only came on for 10 minutes. He's only watching back and saying, "Why didn't pass me the ball? Why do this better, do that better?"
Yeah.
So I feel like Nkunku, I there's nothing I want more than for him to be a star in our team, because I honestly believe he's a
Yeah.
25 goal per
Same.
season player, and
Yeah.
he has the ability to play multiple positions in the final third.
Mm,
But I fear that about his psyche.
mm,
And I know when he gets confidence, it will be like inertia and momentum in that direction. It's just
mm.
that I don't know what it'll take for him to get to that point of confidence. How he's gonna crawl out of that.
It's such a good point, man, and I've already noticed it in these early stages of the season. Let's see how it all pans out. There's immense competition up front now, so
Yeah,
Nkunku is not even a pencil down starter. Like there's probably one pencil down attacker at the moment. That's Cole Palmer, and everyone else is really competing, and he's now in the mix. And he probably always felt that no, I'm probably of the same level as Cole Palmer. I should be a natural starter on match to match, but you're not. So let's see how Nkunku responds to that. I think one thing to also look out for is this will be Nkunku's at the end of this season. I think Nkunku will have 3 more seasons left, if I'm correct, in his contract, something like that. And plus the fact that he's going to be, I think, 26 maybe or 27, something like that. Um, if he is lackluster by the end of this season, they may look into potentially letting him go with more youngsters coming next season. So we'll see. We'll see how it all pans out. Now, Pedro Neto. Ryan, I've liked this player for a very long time. People that actually know me have seen some of my tweets from a long time back. Even back in like 2019, you'll see tweets of me in regards to Pedro Neto. More recently, maybe last season, a couple of seasons ago, I was talking about Pedro Neto. We've seen Pedro Neto do well. It's just the injury that kills him to be, consistently playing. His output, I've got no doubts about that. His brain is just as sharp as his pace. But Ryan, it's not even just about the pace. This guy, if you just recall that sixth goal, the way he laid that ball off to Enzo Fernandez, he first does well to.
describe the goal again, bro. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Oh, let's
Yeah,
do it again, bro. Let's just do it again. The way he holds the play up where he doesn't get bundled over and then he lays it off to Enzo Fernandez. From that point, compare that and what you see with Mudryk. Many players at that point where Pedro Neto laid it off for Enzo Fernandez could have just stuck
yeah,
around where the ball was, you know?
yeah,
Could have just stuck around where the ball was. But this guy wasn't thinking that way. This guy's like, I fully trust my teammates to do the business what they need to do in here.
yeah,
I need to go where I need to go because there's a large gaping hole in behind Wolves' defense. And I need to be there. So by the time the play he develops, they have an option to pass to me.
yeah.
This guy laid it off to Enzo Fernandez, and he did not look left. He did not look right. He just put his head down and he sprinted past 3 or 4 Wolves players. As the play was getting developed, you could just
Yeah.
see this one shadow just did not care about the ball. It was just
Yeah, he does
running.
look funny, no? I
Yeah,
don't listen to that too.
do you know what I mean? Like he did not want to. He did his thing. He laid it off to Enzo Fernandez, and then after that, he's like, "Lads, you do your thing now. I'm going to my position.
I'm just gonna run.
I'm just." And you could see the ball just tippy tapping, and he's just running straight through the play. And then Cole Palmer gets the ball, and Cole Palmer at that point, with his genius mind, he obviously noticed Pedro Neto, or he must have felt his wind just go, Yeah, there's
Yeah.
someone going that way, and he lays it off. Of course, that's the whole scene there was brilliant. But then he takes it to another level. Not only he's got the pace, he receives the ball, he's in the perfect place. He then, I don't know, when he had a quick glance, a lot of players from that area would have hit it across, like across the
Yeah.
defense, in between the goalkeeper and the defense. And you hope that someone from wide will come in and maybe get a tap in. Somewhere along the way, when he was bolting up, he must have caught an eye or a glimpse that
And
a player is moving
yeah,
and
Felix.
situating themselves in the middle.
Say the name. Say the name. Say the name who was in the
Joao
middle.
Felix.
You
And
know, don't say a player. Don't say a player. Say who is the
say
Chelsea
the
player that was
name,
in the middle.
biatch. Say the name.
Yeah.
and Joao Felix is equally smart, in terms of his
Yeah.
footballing brain. He could have gone sprinted all the way with Pedro Neto and tried to get that ball in between the goalkeeper and defense, but he didn't. He's like, I'm not going to do that because the entire defense is moving. I've got all of this pace at the edge of the box now. Somewhere Pedro Neto must have seen this, Ryan. And I was hoping, because as the play was transpiring, I was like, please cut it back. Please cut it back and don't just drill it across the face. And the cutback is next level, bro. It's next level. It's kind of football I don't see Chelsea play. And he put it on the plate for Joao Felix, who it was so delicious. The ball was so delicious. It just needed one touch, a hit, and it was in. I mean, Ryan, Pedro Neto has done damage on us previously, and we've seen him do damage on other Premier League teams as well. The fact that he's with us now, Mudryk, I think it's over, bro. Like the level is just
Yeah.
too
It's over.
much.
Yeah. Yeah. It is over, and it's. I mean, I think he got a lot of chances. He
Mm,
got a lot of chances. Ever since he came, he got a lot of chances. I think he started so much games.
yeah.
But let's just go on Neto.
Mm,
We talked about Mudryk already. Neto, I think I would describe it as a manager's player.
mm,
As a manager's player, where his work rate
yeah.
and his work rate is something that I think that in whatever tactics you want to implement, whether it's like a German press or
Yeah.
whether it is transition counter-attack in Mourinho type football, whether it's
Yes.
possession-based dribble against a low block and cut in and shoot or cross the ball. I think that he's a
I've got it
manager's
all.
player. He has
Yeah.
the work rate off the ball. That off the ball work rate
Yes.
kind of reminded me of Mourinho, a Mourinho player. A
Yeah. Yeah.
Mourinho, he reminds me of a Mourinho player. I think he would fit in that era. Like you could just think about it. Hazard breaking through to the center,
Mm.
turning a player late off the Pedro Neto on the wing, who just runs as fast as possible to the box. It's that type of player. Um, I think that we have not seen. He's a kind of player that physically, I think he's really looking like sharp.
Yeah.
Like that,
Yeah.
those injuries and stuff looks behind him. Hopefully, I don't want to
Hopefully.
jinx it,
Oh,
but
please.
I think what'll be up to him now is just getting a bit of that chemistry going, and I think he'll be
Yeah.
off to the races too. One thing I would say is that what I really like
Mm.
about all our attackers right now is that they seem to really want to take responsibility.
Mm.
And
Mm.
whether we lose next game or not, I think we have four players in attack who consistently watch around to each other, thinking, I should do more, you should do more, we should do more, and we want to do more.
Mm.
And
Mm. Mm.
for so long, I've seen Chelsea with our attack with players like Havertz and Pulisic and Mount and these guys, and it would be the midfield would lay it off to them in the pockets, and they would back pass, they would
Oh,
sideways pass, they would this
yeah.
and that.
No
And
impetus.
yeah,
Yeah.
no impetus at all. Or not impetus, lack of ability also. Poor
Yeah.
ability. I
Yeah.
mean, we're seeing the difference now between a Mason Mount and a Cole Palmer. We're seeing the
Oh.
difference now between what is actually a generational and talent and what is, a decent player.
Mm. Mm.
So
Mm.
I think with this Miz, I think that Pedro Neto will fit in brilliantly with
Mm.
I want to do more. And I honestly believe that even a player like João Felix, I think sometimes he needs to see players around him who wants to take
Yes.
responsibility. And
Yes.
I think that if João slows, because João Felix is the kind of guy will attack really good 3 out of 5 times, and then the other 2 times he will slow down and just be a little do a wayward pass because he loses concentration or this and that. I think we
Mm,
have players in and around them will shout at him. They'll say,
mm,
why,
mm,
what kind of pass is that? What kind of shot is that? This and
mm,
that. And now it's all about, and we talked about it last season. It's not about the standards within these four attackers. It's about getting the right personalities in the coaching and managing staff to make
mm.
sure that these players who already shows good signs of wanting to take responsibility kind of do it in a guided way
Yeah.
by people who know better. Right
Mm,
now, unfortunately, we don't have players on that pitch presently who know better, but
yeah.
hopefully the coaches and the manager could step in and really put them together because I think we have one of the best attacks in Premier League.
I
If
agree,
we get
bro.
a striker, even though that strike we might not get one, but I think a striker is just
Bro,
would
if we
make
get an
our attack
Osimhen, if we get
crazy.
Osimhen, I think we
But
will outscore teams.
do you
We'll
see
outscore
news on it?
teams. Yeah, I saw some latest news that Saudis are trying, but I think he's very, hellbound on joining Chelsea. I think he wants to join Chelsea.
Really?
Yeah, there's been talks that he really wants to join Chelsea, but he doesn't want to cut down on his financial, expectations. So he wants to still earn the kind of money that he wants to earn,
Yeah,
and he
yeah.
doesn't want to compromise on
But
any of
yo,
that.
if he comes in here, I think we just one class striker away from being something special in attack. Like
Mm,
I'm talking about not just okay, I'm thinking, imagine we have four players in the pockets that are just so amazing. You could give
mm,
them the ball in any situation. João
yeah,
Felix, we have Nkunku, we have Neto, we have Cole Palmer. These players could put them together and wow, and then we have vertical passers like Caicedo, Enzo, Colwell, Cucurella all around them. Man, I think we have
it'd be
something
scary, bro.
special. We just need to keep it going and we need
That
to keep it going.
that's the thing now, isn't it? It's all about consistency, and this is how we want to wrap up this particular episode of That's Life podcast. Is that
Yeah.
there's a lot of good stuff that's happening up front, midfield, defense. They do need to be equally alert, equally high performing. Hopefully, Caicedo is not injured. We need Remy Lavia back. I need our midfielders to be ferocious. Like when you don't have the ball,
Mhm.
you need to win your duels. You cannot be flimsy. You can't allow Kovacic in the first game week to just run straight through you. You can't allow for that. You can't
Yeah.
allow Ait Nuri to run and do his thing and then lay off a pass for Cunha to get a goal. You can't. You have to be bosses in midfield and you got to dominate the opposition, which I felt more or less we saw that in the second half, a little bit more aggression, a little bit more um, sense of winning the battles, individual battles, defensively as well. Similarly, set pieces, be the boss. Like, don't allow for free headers. Make sure everyone's organized. Um, be decisive in defending too. We talk about final third decision making for attackers. Be equally great in the final
Yeah.
third decisions in our half. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
um, if we want to play high up, make sure the line is always compact between defense to midfield to attack. Um, yeah, look, all of this will take time under Enzo Maresca, and that's fine. We're happy to give time as long as we can regularly still keep up with the wins. It's very important, as you said, Ryan. Like winning will become a habit. You just got to keep
Yeah.
winning.
Yep. It is a
You
habit.
exactly, and you can't now go backwards where you have a very good second half and against Wolves, and then next weekend we've got Crystal Palace who are struggling. I fully expect us to put Crystal Palace away. Let's not have a
Yeah.
surprise against Crystal Palace where we are not good enough. So
We need to beat Silvet again, Crystal Palace, and that
yes,
would be it would be 4 wins on the trot before international break. You know what that does to that team in international break? What that does for that 2 weeks doing tactics and doing fitness and come back from international break, this and that, it it really puts in a level to say, okay, let's go again now. We have four
yeah,
games on the trot, let's go again. If we get these 2 wins, it sets us up for a good final few months in this year. So it's huge, these 2 games. It shouldn't be looked at something small because if we lose one of these games, it would kind of put us in that in the balance kind of thing.
yeah, it's a
But
setback. It's a
but
setback.
I mean, if you could say that in our first 5 games, we won 4, we lost the only one to the champions of England, you would take it, especially
You
from
take it.
last season.
You take it.
But one thing I want to say this quote by someone before we end it up. I hope
Mm,
you like recognize the quote. But I would say before the quote though is that I think we said this last podcast that there's missing puzzle pieces to this puzzle.
mm,
Our striker, a defender, and a goalkeeper. But I
mhm,
think we arrive at the point where it's inevitable. If we don't get it this window, it's a downer because I do feel we're so close to it. But
mm.
if not now, it will be January. Someday we're gonna feel that because it's clear. Remember,
Yeah,
sometimes against Tuchel, everybody's debating on Twitter. I said last time, do we need a DM? Do we need a winger? Do we need a defender? Everybody's debating. Why? Because it wasn't clear what we needed.
yeah.
Now it's so clear that we have enough midfielders, we have enough attackers. We simply just need a striker, a defender, and a goalkeeper. And I would say the quote is that we might not be that team now, but
Mm.
we are that little horse that just needs some milk. We
Come
are that
on
little horse that needs some milk.
with that little horse. Whose reference was that? That was Thomas Tuchel, right? With that little horse or
Mm-mm.
something.
It was Jose Mourinho.
Oh no,
We
Jose Mourinho. Yeah, what am
we
I talking
were
about? Yeah,
third behind, I think it was 2 other teams in 2014,
yeah, with that
right?
little horse. With that little
Yeah, and
horse.
then the reporter asked him, "Is it a 3 horse race?" And he said, "No. There's 2 big horses, and then there's a good horse, third, a little horse that needs a little bit milk." And after that season, the next season, we won the
Yeah.
title.
Yes,
So I
yes,
think
yes.
with a few additions, we won that title.
Yeah.
And the other, you know what the additions was, Miss? It was
Cesc,
the Diego Costa, the
Diego
Seth,
Costa.
the
Yeah,
Courtois, this and
yeah,
that.
yeah.
So it's kind of like us. We have that little horse, but we need the little additions now. And
Mm,
that little,
mm.
with those little additions, with that milk, with that winning games, getting back into top four, making winning a habit, getting that organization, developing these younger players mentally. I think that if we can remain where we have 95% of our players injury free,
Mm.
and we keep where Maresca shows us that he is a manager that could perform at this level,
Yeah.
and when we cover those holes in our team, then I think we have a big team. We will be back, but we just need to see how it goes. We need to win
100%.
these 2 games.
100%. It's all about just being consistent now. I don't want to get too carried away because I know what happened to a lot of us last season when we got carried away. Every time we thought that we are seeing some light at the end of the tunnel, and then boom, a loss against Brentford. Boom, a loss against this team, and then you go on a losing streak. So
It's not
karma.
all doom and gloom. It's not all
It's not
doom and
all doom
gloom.
and gloom. It's not all doom and gloom. Karma, karma, karma. Brilliant victory against Wolves. Let's take care of Servette, get into the Conference League, and then let's take care of Crystal Palace, move into the international break.
But you know what
It's
is the difference from last season? I would add before we finish up here is that the enormous amount of talent and depth we have,
yeah, yeah,
especially in attack.
yeah,
Especially in attack. Now, you know what will be the challenge, Miz? It's
mm,
keeping those two centre backs fit, which is impossible
yeah.
because one of them bound to get injured, and then keeping those two central midfielders fit. We already see Lavia get a bit of an injury there.
And
So,
Caicedo, who knows
so
if he's
yeah,
fit?
that looks. I don't know if that's something with a rib or something, but it didn't look good. But we already see that. I don't have a problem with our attack, but do we have the depth to build upon this, especially in defense and midfield? That's two areas where I feel like if one or two injuries strike us in those areas, we could bound to get some injuries to our wingers and stuff. But
Yeah,
you see those two other areas, we could be in for to prepare to suffer. Prepare to
prepared
suffer.
to suffer. You know what? And just to end on a cheeky note, there's a player that I'm very keen to see how he performs as the season goes on, and he could be a bit of a solution both in defense and in midfield. He's a beastie structure. Renato Vega. This guy, every time he
Yeah,
comes on, I'm so impressed. I am
yeah,
so impressed. And he's actually naturally a midfielder. So he does a job in LCB or left back or whatever the case is, but he's naturally a midfielder. And his ball playing ability kind of shows that, yeah, I understand why he's a midfielder. So maybe there could be an option there if worse comes to worse, that someone like Renato Viga. And once again, kudos to the board, kudos to the owners, to be able to find a player like Renato Viga who does look like he's got something about him. Another Portuguese player, along with Pedro Neto, João Felix. So hopefully he has that feel good factor about joining Chelsea with some of his Portuguese teammates. And let's see, man. Let's see. Now this has been fantastic. Hopefully
yeah,
people in
bro.
the live chat, you've enjoyed it as well. Smash the like button. Make sure you follow Ryan on all his socials. It's in the description. And Ryan, any final thoughts before we go?
Final thoughts is this one was super fun, bro. We should win often because it was a fun one. Had great talking to you as always, and we will do 4 for 4. We'll be here after next game for sure.
Come
We'll
on,
keep it
come on.
consistent.
Yes, we're committed. We are
Yeah, we're
committed.
committed.
You
That's
know,
life. That's our life from now. Committed
that's
life.
that's
We
that's
committed to each other. We're basically married. So
that's right,
yeah, we'll
baby.
be here.
We'll be here. We will be here.
We
What's
will be
that?
there. We will be there.
What's that kid who started the new trend? There we land.
Oh.
On that note, ladies and gentlemen, take care. See ya. Goodbye.